Have you ever heard the story of the king who tried to curse an entire nation? It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but it's a real story from the ancient world. We're talking about King Balak of Moab, a figure who's often overshadowed by the prophet he hired. But Balak's story is fascinating in its own right. It's a tale of fear, power, and a desperate attempt to control destiny. So, who was this king, and what drove him to such extreme measures? Let's set the scene. It's the late Bronze Age, around the 13th century BCE. The Israelites, after their exodus from Egypt and 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, are finally approaching the Promised Land. They've just scored some major military victories against powerful Amorite kings, Sihon and Og. Their reputation precedes them, and the nations in their path are, to put it mildly, terrified. One of these nations is Moab, located to the east of the Dead Sea, and its king is Balak, son of Zippor. The biblical text in the book of Numbers tells us that when Balak saw the sheer size of the Israelite camp, he was sick with dread. He saw them not just as a military threat, but as an existential one. He famously says they will lick up all that is around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field. This wasn't just about losing a battle. It was about the potential annihilation of his people and his kingdom. Fear is a powerful motivator, and for Balak, it led to a very unusual plan. He knew he couldn't beat the Israelites in a conventional war. They were battle-hardened and, more importantly, they had a powerful God on their side. So, Balak decides to fight fire with fire, or rather, divine power with divine power. He needed a spiritual weapon. This is where Balaam son of Beor enters the picture. Balaam wasn't a Moabite. He lived far away in a place called Pethor, near the Euphrates River in Mesopotamia. But he had a massive reputation. He was a renowned diviner, a seer, someone who could supposedly communicate with the divine realm and, crucially, whose curses and blessings were believed to be incredibly effective. If Balaam cursed you, you were in big trouble. If he blessed you, you were set. So, Balak puts together a delegation of the most respected elders from both Moab and their neighbors, the Midianites, who were also scared of the Israelites. He sends them on a long journey to find Balaam, and they don't go empty-handed. They bring with them the fees for divination, essentially a hefty payment to convince Balaam to come and do one specific job: curse the Israelites. The message Balak sends is filled with a mix of flattery and desperation. He says, "A people has come out of Egypt. They cover the face of the land and have settled next to me. Now come and put a curse on these people, because they are too powerful for me. Perhaps then I will be able to defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that whoever you bless is blessed, and whoever you curse is cursed." Now, the story takes a twist. Balaam tells the Moabite elders to wait overnight while he consults his God. God comes to Balaam and tells him in no uncertain terms, "Do not go with them. You must not put a curse on those people, because they are blessed." So, the next morning, Balaam sends the delegation packing. He tells them, the Lord has refused to let him go. But King Balak is not a man who takes no for an answer. He's a king, used to getting his way. He probably thinks Balaam is just holding out for a better offer. So, what does he do? He doubles down. He sends a new, larger delegation, this time made up of even more distinguished princes. And he sweetens the deal, big time. The message is clear. I will reward you handsomely and do whatever you say. Come and curse these people for me. He's basically offering Balaam a blank check. Fame, fortune, honor, anything he wants. This time, Balaam's resolve seems to waver. Even though he initially says, "Even if Balak gave me his palace full of silver and gold, I could not do anything, great or small, to go beyond the command of the Lord my God." He still tells the princes to stay the night so he can see what else God might say. This is a crucial moment. It shows the immense pressure Balak is putting on him. God does speak to Balaam again, but with a condition. Since these men have come to summon you, go with them, but do only what I tell you. So, Balaam saddles his famous talking donkey and sets off for Moab. The story of Balaam's donkey is probably the most famous part of this whole narrative, how the donkey sees an angel of the Lord blocking the path and refuses to move, leading to the donkey miraculously speaking to a frustrated Balak. This whole episode is a divine warning to Balaam. Don't forget who's in charge here. You are on God's leash, not Balak's. When Balaam finally arrives in Moab, King Balak comes out to meet him personally. He's a little annoyed. Did I not send you an urgent summons? Why didn't you come to me? Am I really not able to reward you? You can feel the royal frustration. He's pulled out all the stops, and this prophet is still playing hard to get. Balaam's reply is ominous. Well, I have come to you now, but I can't say whatever I please. I must speak only the word that God puts in my mouth. This is not what Balak wanted to hear, but Balak is still determined. He's a man of action. He thinks maybe the location is the key. If Balaam can just get a good view of the enemy, the curses will flow. So, the next day, Balak takes Balaam up to a place called Bamoth-Bal, which means the high places of Baal. These were sacred sites for pagan worship. Balak has 7 altars built, and they offer sacrifices of bulls and rams, a standard ritual to gain favor with the gods. Everything is set. The stage is prepared for the ultimate curse. Balak stands by his offerings, waiting expectantly. Balaam goes off to receive a word from God. When he returns, Balak eagerly asks, "What has the Lord said?" But the words that come out of Balaam's mouth are the exact opposite of what Balak paid for. Instead of a curse, it's a blessing. Balaam declares, "How can I curse those whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce those whom the Lord has not denounced?" He goes on to praise Israel's numbers and their righteous destiny. You can just imagine Balak's face. Shock, anger, disbelief. He says to Balaam, "What have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies, but you have done nothing but bless them." He spent a fortune, brought this famous prophet all this way, and it has completely backfired. But does he give up? No. Balak is persistent, if nothing else. He thinks, okay, maybe it was the location. Maybe seeing the whole camp was too overwhelming. Let's try a different spot, a place where you can only see a part of them. So, he takes Balaam to the top of Mount Pisgah. Again, they build 7 altars, make the sacrifices, and go through the whole ritual. Balak is desperate for this to work. Once more, Balaam returns with a divine message, and on Semore it's a powerful blessing for Israel. This time, it's even more direct. Balaam states God is not a man, that he should lie, nor a son of man, that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? I've received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot change it. He's basically telling Balak, you're wasting your time. This is a done deal. At this point, Balak is furious. He's been humiliated twice. He screams at Balaam, don't curse them and don't bless them. He is at the point where he'd rather just have neutrality than hear another blessing for his enemies. But incredibly, Balak, the king who will not quit, decides to try. One more time. Just one more chance. Maybe the 3rd time's the charm. He takes Balaam to yet another high place, the top of Peor, which overlooks the desert. For the 3rd and final time, the altars are built, the sacrifices are made, the tension is immense. This time, something changes. Balaam doesn't go off to seek an omen. As before, he sees that it pleases the Lord to bless Israel, so he simply turns, looks toward the Israelite camp, and the Spirit of God comes upon him. He then launches into his most glorious prophecy yet. He speaks of Israel's beauty, their strength like a lion, and their future king who will crush all their enemies, including Moab. He ends with the powerful phrase, "May those who bless you be blessed and those who curse you be cursed." It's a complete reversal of Balak's original request. That was the last straw. Balak's anger explodes. He claps his hands in fury and dismisses Balaam entirely. "I summoned you to curse my enemies, but you have blessed them these 3 times. Now leave at once and go home. I said I would reward you handsomely, but the Lord has kept you from being rewarded." He blames God for Balaam's failure to deliver, completely missing the point that he was trying to fight against God all along. The story of King Balak is a powerful lesson in the limits of human power, Aad wealth authority, and a single-minded determination. He used every resource at his disposal to try and manipulate a spiritual outcome to his favor. But he was ultimately trying to curse what God had blessed, a futile and doomed effort from the start. His story serves as a stark reminder that fear can lead us down desperate and irrational paths, and that there are forces in the universe far greater than any earthly king's command. So next time you hear the story of Balaam and his talking donkey, remember the man who set the whole thing in motion. King Balak, the monarch who tried, and failed spectacularly, to buy a curse. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into a lesser-known biblical figure, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the ancient world. See you next time.